Let's get this party started, Dustin Justin.
Yes.
That's my new nickname for you, Dustin Justin. If I say Dustin Justin, that way I've got your name right, no matter how.
You've got it covered.
Whether I'm in the brown water, clear water, or sweet tea. So anyway, Dustin, let's get it going. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Well, here we are again. I know we're a little late getting this thing out, but we do have jobs. And to be honest with you, I was sick first part of the week. Couldn't even go to work. Just now got where I can halfway talk. So if I sound a little sinusy, I am. But here we are again. Smith Lake, Alabama, Coleman County. I guess we'll just kind of bring you up to date. This isn't going to be anything special. We're just, of course, last week we said that and we ran over an hour, didn't we?
Yes.
So what all did you get done? I know you ended up down in Florida.
Yes. Drove 936 miles Friday trying to get back home and made it in a little after midnight. So got home early Saturday morning.
Well, I went to Destin, Florida. No turkey hunting. Of course, it wasn't turkey season, but I had a dealer meeting down there. I left on Thursday, and I blew out of there, I don't know, 8 o'clock Saturday morning, headed home, which it wasn't the drive you had. It's 300-something miles, but it still got home in time to sorry about that, folks. That was my phone. Got home in time to meet up with you and your lovely wife, the one and only. And we headed to Tuscaloosa.
Yep, the woods and water.
Yep, they were doing a turkey day, I guess, for, it was a couple of days. Was it like a turkey Friday and Saturday?
Yeah.
And our buddies from Legacy Game Calls was there. Who was it, David?
David was
there. We went down and hung out with him most of the afternoon Saturday and ran into a few people, went and had dinner. It was a great time. Wonderful calls. These people are top notch. I'm telling you, if you want a good turkey call, look them up.
Hey, we did get us some new bags for our calls, though.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. You pushed me into it. I couldn't stand it. I kept wanting it, but I didn't want to spend the money, but I had calls strode everywhere. And I still don't have them all together. I thought about some calls. Matter of fact, today going to work that I'm not sure where they're at. I won't put them in the bag, but I've got some collector calls down at my office on the shelf. I've got a Lynch call that's made back in the 50s in Mississippi, I think, somewhere. And I've got 4 or 5 Ben Rogers Lee calls. And one of them I'm actually thinking about carrying hunting with me this year. I really am. I've got 3 of them. One of them's broke. I'd like to get repaired. It looks like somebody sat on it one time. They're all autographed. That's why I don't want to really carry them. And then I've got a scratch box. Never seen nothing like it. I need to bring it, let you see it. It's square, little square cube. And then it's got a peg with a little square thing on top. And I think it's slate down in there. And I call it a scratch box, but I guess it's a slate, but it's real small. I've never seen a call like it. But the one I want to do is more of it's elongated, and it's got a little strip down the middle of it, and that's how you play it. It's got a little corncob striker. It's pretty cool. I'll break it out when we take off to Tennessee or Kentucky and let your mouth water.
Well, we may use it and call up a bird.
Hey, I'd love to. I'm gonna carry my Mad Hatter call. I didn't tell you this, but now I have 4 pot calls in my vest. I didn't realize I could actually carry 4. So I've got my Mad Hatter call, my I've got my Legacy call. I got one of those in there. I got a Legacy glass call. I didn't know if you knew that. Oh, no. Yeah. And I got my Eddie Salter glass, who's going to sign it for me the next time I see him because I keep forgetting it. And then I've got my ceramic that's Who's that made by? You know who I'm talking
JT.
about? Yeah, JT called. And let me tell you, folks, JT's one good dude. I broke my call last year, and I don't know how it broke. I can't sit on it. It was in my vest, but maybe it got broke, pile something on it. And I sent him an email just asking if he could replace the piece that was broke. He said, don't worry about it. I'll have you one in the mail today, and I had it in 2 days. No charge either way. And I'd paid for it. I wasn't asking for anything free. I know it was my fault. This was not a call defect. So he's a good guy. He'll take care of you. And I know William, with Legacy, all of his calls are guaranteed for life. His slate, well, not mouth calls, of course, but everything, box calls, everything he makes, he guarantees.
Lifetime warranty.
You call that number, that 800 number, and it rings his cell phone. So you're gonna talk to the man if you call him. Hey, even if you need something special, you can call him. He may custom make you something. So they're just good people, and we're gonna go down. Actually, we're going down tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
I don't know if this podcast will be out by then, but we're gonna go to Mark's Outdoors. They're having their turkey day tomorrow, and we're gonna try to hang out with William and his crew down there at. Just see what's going on, visit. I think Eddie's going to be there.
Jimmy Primos.
Yep, Primos will be there. So it's Jimmy?
Yeah, I think it showed Jimmy.
Okay. I still may carry my book. I've got a second edition, which was very close to the first edition. I mean, it was printed in 74 that I've been getting some of the OGs to sign. And, of course, I forgot it for Nashville, when I could have got them all to sign it, but it'll be all right. I'll get them sooner or later. And who knows, some of these young guns may be OGs by the time I can get to them, so I'll get them signed.
Well, we talked about woods and water, but I mean...
Yeah, let's back up to woods and water.
Let's back up for a second and talk about who we ran into at Woods and Water.
You guys may remember last week we were talking about this young lady that could just wear out a pot call. I'm talking about, I was impressed. She was looking for strikers, and she just picked up the pot call, and I saw right off the bat that I didn't want to call. I would never call against her because she was smoking that thing. Well, we're there with David at their little table with all the calls set up. Who walked up?
I looked, I said, Anthony, that's her. That's her. So
there she was, and all of her shortness.
So we finally got properly introduced.
Yes.
And her name is Peyton Lowe.
Peyton Lowe.
And she happened to be an Alabama girl. We had no idea where she was from or anything.
Pickens County.
Pickens County, yeah.
Well, I think when she said that, I think I remember her saying that, but my old slow memory just let it go by the wayside.
Well, there was just so much going on at the NWTF that.
And I was in awe of her turkey calling on that pot call. I mean, she was cutting. It was impressive. Cuz Strickland and his little old tube call didn't have nothing on her with her popping that slate call. But anyway, there she was. She walked right on up, and yeah, it was like, oh my God, there you are. So we got properly introduced, like you said, and you can carry on from here because I'm a little embarrassed. She was a young teenager.
I felt like you missed the age a little bit, and well, you did, but
I missed by a lot of bit. I don't know if it really came out, but I was thinking she was a lot younger. I mean, she's not old by no means. I'd give anything to be her age today and still out there turkey hunting like that. Dropped my phone. I'm not even gonna pick it up. But
yeah, I mean, mid-20s. Mid-20s to go back to
married. I mean, man, if you can miss anything, I missed it. But just as good as gold, and I did post it. I mean, we're gonna have her on the podcast. She's impressive. She got an impressive resume, and matter of fact, she had a shotgun she had up for discussion on a social media platform. I shared that. So if anybody sees it, that's what it is.
I shared it also.
So anyway, good girl, young lady. I don't know. Everybody's girls when you're as old as I am, unless they're my aunt or grandma, they're girls. But yeah, she We talked. I don't know how long. She hung out a long time.
Pretty good while. But the thing is, what was weird is she was in South Dakota the same time we was.
I know, that was crazy.
I mean, the turkey hunting world's a lot smaller than you think it is.
We had a good time though. Talked to a lot of people there. David had his son. I can't remember his son's name. Do you remember it?
Isaiah,
is that what it is? Okay.
I believe so.
Good guy, good kid.
We took them for their first experience at Dreamland.
Yes. They had people. They've been doing this thing at Woods and Water for years, and they have never eaten at Dreamland. And if I know some of you may not be from Alabama, and you may not even be an Alabama football fan, I'm sorry, but everybody should eat there. They're non-denominational. They don't care if you're a Florida fan, Auburn fan. They don't care. But they got the finest ribs. Long history in Tuscaloosa. Now they're all over the state. I don't know if they're out of state, but I know they're all over the state of Alabama now. And so we went there, and me and you split a slab. And the other boys, they had them a sandwich, a barbecue sandwich of some kind, and fries and fried green tomatoes and okra. Well, I mean, it was
and a jar of sauce to go.
Oh, yes, yeah. Yeah, I think David was a little shocked when he asked for a jar of sauce, and they told him how much it was, and I don't know what he thought he was going to get.
I really think he thought he was going to get a pint or like a little jelly jar.
They brought him out a mayonnaise quart-sized jar, and you should have seen his eyes. It was like, oh, my God.
I talked to him this week. He said that he got it home and threw it in the microwave for a few seconds like we told him to, and he said, man,
he dipped him some white bread in it.
Yep, he said that it was gone.
When you go in, if you've never been there, when you go in to sit down there, they bring out a half a loaf of white bread and these styrofoam cups full of this hot Dreamland barbecue sauce, and you just kind of tear off your bread, dip it down in there, and eat it while you're waiting on your order to come. And I could make a meal out of it myself. I mean, matter of fact, I probably shouldn't have ate all that white bread like I did, but I did eat 3 or 4 pieces of it. You didn't. You're being a good guy.
Trying to eat clean.
I didn't see you back off the ribs though.
Nope. And that's the first first pork I've eaten since I've started this.
So what else? What else you do this week? Now you got back. We went to Woods and Water.
Well, back up. We went to Woods and Water on Saturday. Sunday, we got together and went to a concert.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Went to see Aaron Lewis. I think I called him Aaron Tippin, and you corrected me real quick. Cool dude, though. I mean, I'd never seen him. I've heard some of his music. Matter of fact, I just heard that new song. What is it? Not Made in China. I'm not made in China. So I'd heard that. And going fishing.
I wasn't a big. Yeah, if y'all didn't know, he was like lead singer Stain.
For Stain, yeah.
And I wasn't. I probably should listen to their music. I assumed it was one of those heavy metal screamers. I just never listened to it, but he played a few of those songs.
Yeah.
And it was really enjoyable. I was getting sick at the time. I may have still drank a little cup of Crown while I was there, waiting and eat some popcorn. But we made it back. I think I got in bed Sunday night about 12:30 when I finally got in bed.
Yeah, it was pretty late.
And Monday, I couldn't have went to work if I'd wanted to. I was sick as a dog Monday. I could barely talk, barely breathe. And so I hung out there, and I did go down, and was it Sunday? It might have been Sunday. Sunday before we left. I got down and started gathering all my calls to put in my new call bag.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I did turkey tote clean out.
Yeah. I think I made a little joke with you about amateur when you had all your stuff laid on the table. I don't know if I got that much myself, but I do know I've got to collect some things. Well, I know I'm missing a few calls that I just don't know where they are.
I know one that's very important that was missing in that, because I keep it in the gun safe, but I've got my granddaddy's box call.
Oh, my.
And, it's probably nothing special. It's just no Quaker boy, but it is.
It don't matter.
It means a lot to me.
That's all that matters. You ever hunted with it?
No, but that is in the near future.
So you thinking about carrying it?
I'm thinking about it, yeah.
You gonna carry it down south, or you gonna carry it on one of our trips?
I'm thinking one of the trips, maybe.
Well, that's something we're gonna be doing this weekend. We we talked about, of course, you sighted in your new gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of left me out in the cold. Which mine's, for all practical purposes, it's sighted in. I just got to shoot it. I mean,
make sure.
I just don't think you're doing the turkey justice if you don't go out and shoot your gun at least once and make sure it's where it was the last time you shot it, because anything can happen. I don't care if you're shooting a red dot, a scope, or a bead on the end of your barrel. Something can happen, especially if you change loads. A lot of people don't realize it, but every load shoots a little different. I mean, every brand.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can shoot a Remington or a Federal or Apex or Rogue or what. There's so many different brands out there now. Every one of them, no two will shoot alike to me. I'm not. I mean, my old 835 hated Remingtons. I couldn't get it. It just never did paper right. But it loved those Winchester Longbeards. It was just what was that? I could hear that. Was your phone vibrating? That's why I threw mine in the floor. Actually, it dropped in the floor. But so you got that done. I'm gonna shoot mine sometime this week. You may come over and shoot yours again at a distance, I guess.
Yeah, I made some final adjustments, and it looks great at 25, and it looked fairly good at 50. But after I made those adjustments, I want to shoot another 50.
Oh, don't say 50. You got those TSS haters out there. They hear you say 50, they're gonna say you'd shoot a turkey at 50 yards. Well, normally I wouldn't, but I will if I have to.
Well, that goes back to
Like we
killing turkeys.
Well, yeah, we're turkey killers. And like I said, at home, up here on my uncle's farm, which I'm very impressed with my turkey surveys I've had so far. I'll never set up where I'll have a 50-yard shot. Really. I mean, I guess I could set up on a green field and may do it, but I've never seen a turkey walk down the middle of his green fields. I'm going to be on roads and in the woods. You're going to have a 20, 25, 30-yard shot, 35 at the most. So,
well, you tell, like when we were in Texas, it's pretty open country, and I had a mesquite tree that I knew that was 30. After I killed the bird, I was looking at the wrong mesquite tree, and it was 60-something yards. So that's why I want to know what it does.
Here's where I say, if you can shoot them at 60, you shoot them at 60. We spent a lot of money to go to Texas. We spent a lot of money to go. Even when we hunted public ground, you're still buying gas and food. Licenses, lodging. We don't sleep in the truck, people. I'm sorry. I'm too old, and he can't sleep.
I gotta have somewhere to plug my CPAP.
You can now that you got a CPAP, but before you didn't have CPAP, you'd have been sleeping in the cab straight up and down. You couldn't have laid on a sleeping bag in the back of a truck.
Well, and we'd have had to been in two separate trucks and me a mile away.
Oh, so that's true now. Snore. I'd had to put on a set of my Bose noise reducers and turn some music on to sleep with you. It was bad enough that one time in Florida. I mean, you was all over.
You talking about when I was driving to sleep?
No, well, not when you nearly killed us, and we're going to get into some of that probably. I think we ought to tell a few stories. I mean, we got enough. We could make several podcasts out of stories, but no, I'm just talking about, we share rooms. We don't share beds. We are economical, but down there in Florida, when we went to Texas, we did have separate rooms.
Oh, at the Bliss Motel?
At the Bliss Motel, Winters, Texas. People, let me tell you right now, if you're ever in Winters, Texas, and that's where Hayden Hollingsworth, fine guide, and if you want to kill a Rio, get a hold of him. He's on Facebook, all the socials, I'm sure. But that we went, I thought I'd seen some sketchy motels in my time, but when we pulled up there, I said to myself, I didn't say it out loud, I went, oh my God. I didn't even really. If we hadn't been met him there, I wouldn't have even known it was a motel.
No, and it was miles to the nearest lodging. If you
that was it. I mean, that was it. If you're in Winter, Texas, you're gonna stay at the Bliss, and you're gonna pay Hilton prices. Because you're at the only hotel within 100 miles there, probably, in between the towns.
Well, when we went to check in, we were like, hey, we need 2 rooms, and we'd like them side by side.
Yeah, if they joined where we could just kind of open the door between them and visit. And what did they tell us?
They said, well, we've only got 2 rooms left because the third one is actually in between the 2 rooms that are available, and it had caught on fire.
Caught on fire, and they couldn't get the smell out of it or something. I assume, I wasn't sure if they were talking about the fire smell or a body had burned. At that time, I just didn't care.
And we really didn't have time to look because Hayden was sitting there going...
He was waiting on us because he had promised we could probably kill one before dark if we got there in time.
And we did get on 3 that evening, and we did watch them fly up.
We saw him. He didn't lie. Turkeys are turkeys, and they didn't do what we thought they'd do, and they went on down and roosted.
And we set up under them the next morning, and they decided to pitch off to the river.
And they went right on to the river. And that was the end of that little farm we were on. But that night, and I don't know if we go down these rabbit holes, people, so you're just going to have to bear with us. We got back that night after they roosted, and you got to understand, we'd probably drove another 300 miles or more to get to him from where our first place where we got screwed at, and there wasn't no turkeys. And so we're ready for a shower. And I think we'd already we ate with him, and we just come back to the room. Well, when we pull up in the parking lot, the light in the room between us is on. So they had rented the stinky room, apparently. Well, we go on to our rooms, didn't really think nothing about it. I get a shower. And that's when I'm noticing how sketchy the insides of the room are. I mean, all the wiring is exposed. I mean, you got to understand that it was probably built before electricity was even a thing. And I'll post a picture. I got some pictures of the outside of the rooms and stuff. But anyway, I think I had called the wife and talked to her. And I thought, well, we got a cooler out in the truck. I may go out and fix me a little toddy tonight before it gets too late. Well, I knew we was going to get up in the morning, go back over there. We'd roost those birds, so it's going to be early. So I go out, and I'm headed to the truck, which we're parked like right in front of the room that nobody was supposed to be in, kind of in the middle. And as I come out the door, I hear the awfulest yelling, cussing. I wasn't sure what was going on in there. I didn't know if somebody was fighting. I didn't know if there was a love fest going on. I didn't know what was going on, but you got to slow down, or at least I do. So I slowed down. I eased up toward the door, or as I'm easing up toward the door, kind of listening. All of a sudden, the door kicks wide open. I'm talking about wide open. And this ball of fire comes out of the room. And I hear a guy hollering, "My room's on fire, my room's on fire." And he said a few other words that went along with it. And he looks at me and he said, "I'm going to go wake." Well, it was Mexican, or I say Mexicans, they were Americans, but the Hispanic owners up. Because it couldn't have been more than 9 o'clock. I mean, it didn't get dark till late. I mean, it was late. It might have been 10 o'clock. I don't know. But anyway, he takes off over there. I hear him beating on the door. I just kind of ease on down to Dustin Justin's room, and I knock on the door, and I don't know if you were on the phone or what you was.
Yeah, I was on the phone, and I mean, I'll never forget that. I ease the door up, and I'm like, yeah, and you go, "Hey, you may want to get your crap out of that room." And I said, "Why?" And you said, "Because the one between us is on fire." I start grabbing. I'd already had my clothes laid out for the next morning. I mean, I'm grabbing shotguns.
And I left out that before I knocked on your door, I went and got my stuff out of the room. Because when I hear fire, and there was smoke coming out of the room, I mean, it was boiling out. This room was the one that had already been on fire that maybe had killed somebody. I don't know. But anyway, you grabbed your stuff, and we proceeded outside, and then you can tell the rest of it. I mean, I know they came over. And
the guy had he said his cell phone charger is what caught on fire.
Yeah. Well, his phone, he was charging his phone. Yeah, I think it was laying on the bed or in the floor, and it exploded and it caught the carpet on fire. So the fireball that come out of the room, somehow he scooped that thing up and threw it out. Nearly hit my truck. It bounced out across the parking lot. It looked like a bottle rocket. But he went and woke up the owners, and they come over and poured a bucket of water on it and sprayed some smoke.
Yeah, they sprayed some air freshener.
Yeah, air freshener in the room, and kind of looked at him and said, "All right, you can go back in there."
And he did.
Yeah,
he was a construction worker.
In the meantime, while all that was going on, I was mixing me a little drinky drink out there in the back of the truck. Was in my truck. Yeah. So he comes over and he's talking to us. And what'd he say? He said something about, what are y'all doing here? And
yeah, what are y'all hunting or something?
We wasn't in camo at that time because we'd already showered and stuff. And we told him we was turkey hunting, and he made some kind of comment he'd love to be able to hunt, but he couldn't own firearms anymore.
Said he had a nice crossbow, though.
Yeah, he had a good nice crossbow, but he couldn't own a firearm. So you guys can just take that wherever you want to take it. I know where I took it. I know the last words he said to me as we was kind of breaking up, going back to our room since it was safe to sleep. He looked at me and he said, "Well, I guess this ain't a no smoking room tonight." Yeah. I said, "Yes, sir." So he lit him up a stogie and went on inside and shut the door. I'll be honest with you, I didn't sleep good that night.
I may have slept with one eye open myself.
I'll tell you what I did do. My charger for my phone was plugged in the wall. I know our beds probably was backed up to each other through a wall. I moved it across the room to another plug because I said they might have been something wrong with that power plug. I didn't sleep good that night.
No.
So that was probably experience. Really, the first real wild experience we had, other than getting to Victoria, Texas, and nothing being open on Easter. But that's kind of I wasn't expecting it, but I guess you could expect it. It maybe didn't surprise people in Victoria, Texas.
Well, then when we booked that, we didn't look. We just knew what month, and we really wasn't thinking about it being Easter.
I didn't even think about it being Easter.
Me either.
My wife did.
I did that one year for Mother's Day.
My kids were grown. Your kids are not well, especially Grace. She wasn't grown. I mean, she's too big for the Easter bunny stuff, but she's a daddy's girl, and you wasn't here for Easter.
Yeah.
So you probably caught a little crap over that.
Over the years, I've got used to it.
Well, what is it going on now? I don't know if I've been home for my birthday. This will be a second or third year because we'll be in Oklahoma this year.
We usually celebrate it wherever we're at.
Wherever we are, we celebrate my birthday, your daddy's birthday. He always seems to get us a turkey.
Yeah, April 9th's always a good day in the woods.
So it's we have a good time. This year, of course, we'll hunt Alabama. We're going to hunt Tennessee and Kentucky and then Oklahoma. We'll hunt later if somebody will give us a free hunt somewhere up north where season don't go out until June. But I think that's about all we can fit in our schedule this year.
Yeah, I mean, because we had invites to go to 3 or 4 more other places.
Oh, yeah.
We just can't.
Yeah, you can't fit it in. I mean, I'm going to look hard and see if I can just sneak off maybe a weekday or two and go to Indiana and help my buddy out, whether I hunt or not. I'm going to help my buddy Steve out up there on his farm. He hadn't been able to never killed a turkey. And he's been hunting them up there for 3 years. I don't know what they're doing wrong, but I'm not going to say I can do anything right. But I just think when you got people that's never turkey hunted, they're doing something wrong. They're either moving, they're not camouflaged right, or they're not getting the turkeys in. It's not like they shot and missed. They ain't even got a shot. So and he's got lots of turkeys. Every time I'm there, I see a half dozen out there in these fields. And I think he's got 300 acres right there behind his house he owns.
Well, if the opportunity comes up and it's where I can go, I mean, I'd love to go and try to call somebody their first bird in or help.
Well, and I know we seem to bring them up every time. I heard Alex on his podcast, on their Talk About It Outdoors podcast, talk about he wasn't hunting Florida this year, but he was going to go down and no, it wasn't Alex. Alex is hunting. He's greedy, but Nick's going to go down somewhere and he's going to call.
I think they're calling for Alex's son.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it's some kind of charity thing.
I think them three's making a trip.
No. Well, I didn't know if that's going together or not. I thought it was going to be something separate because I was going to tell Nick if they need volunteers to help call for somebody. I love to call. I mean, anybody can pull the trigger. That's just the way I've always looked at it. The challenge and the fun part is calling them. I don't mind if I was calling and you shoot, my wife shoots, some kid shoots. Whatever it is, I don't mind. I enjoy just calling them in. And I knew an old man one time that he lived in Coosa County, Alabama, and he gave up turkey hunting. He said he had killed enough. He carried a camera, and he would call them. He said, when I get them inside 20 yards, I take a picture, and that's a dead bird. I print it and I put it in my photo album. So that's what he did. I mean, he was an old guy. I mean, real old. Because I tried my best to get him to let me come down there and hunt. No, nobody hunted his turkeys no more. So we
let's see. We're gonna do Mark's tomorrow.
We're gonna do Mark's Outdoors tomorrow. Hang out down there for a little while.
Leave early Saturday morning.
Saturday morning we're gonna leave out early, and I don't know if we've decided where we're going first, but we're going to be in Tennessee
and Kentucky.
We're going to go to where is it? Somewhere in Tennessee, outside of what's the name of it? Savannah, Tennessee. We got to look at that piece of property because we've never set foot on it. And then you got a place in Cadiz, Mississippi.
Kentucky.
I'm Mississippi. Why am I going? You know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about that calling thing over there.
Yeah, the call makers do it at Mossy Oak.
At Mossy Oak, because I'd love to make that. But I don't know how we can fit it in. I wish they'd have done it on a Sunday. We could have got it over there. And we could slide through there and then drive on up to Kentucky and spend the night and then come straight back down to Tennessee or whatever. But
that kind of crossed my mind because I think you could go from that.
Or we could go there first while the rain's going on and then go to Tennessee.
Because I believe that would be a lot closer, and then stay in Tennessee and go on up to Kentucky the next morning or something.
I don't know. I think we should drive to Kentucky that night and be up there at daylight and listen for calls.
Yeah. I mean, Tennessee Kentucky, as long as we can hear one.
It's less than 2 hours, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I know you guys probably don't care about it. See, we're making our dang travel plans right here in my kitchen. I'm sorry. In the Meeting 2 studios, temporary studio. It's going to be temporary for a little while until turkey season's over anyway. And I know you might be out there getting tired of talking turkey, but I'm sorry. It's just that's the way it's going to be till May. I mean, I thought, well, it might not be. I mean, it's crappie time, so we got a good guy we're going to bring on here and talk about a little bit of crappie fishing and the jigs. He actually owns a I guess bait company. He makes baits. He makes soft plastic baits, and really they have exploded. Rock Creek Baits.
Rock Creek Baits, yeah. Wade Vincent.
And I mean, if you can't wait, go look him up. He's on Facebook. I think he has a website now.
Yeah, he's on TikTok. He does a lot of live stuff. He's sitting there tying jigs. Yeah, he's pouring jigs.
He's full time. I mean, that's how fast this thing exploded. He was working a full time job up until just a while back, and it exploded on him. And I'll attest. I've got his jigs out here.
Well, what was cool is he was over at the house that day, and you were there, and you were like, "Man, they used to make this crappie jig years ago, and I can't find them." And you explained it to him, and man, he built it to the T.
He made it. I mean, and I'm not gonna lie. I hadn't crappie fished other than off my dock, but I caught a couple of crappie with them. But I've caught bass. I've caught almost anything. I mean, it's a little marabou jig's what it is. It's a red head and a blue body with a white feathers or whatever it is, the skirt on it, whatever the skirt is. I think it's a fuzzy stuff. I think it may be feathers. I don't know if it's feathers. But anyway, he can talk about all that when he gets here. But all I'm telling you is if you guys like to catch crappie, go look at his place, right? And like I said, maybe in a week or so we'll get him up here. I think you're going to talk to him, try to line him up.
Yeah, and got another local guy we're thinking about getting on that's I've talked to. He does a lot of hog hunting this time of year, helping with that situation, and but then when it gets turkey season, he'll be flipping the script.
Yeah, well, he's probably already flipping because it's pretty dang close. Well, are we talking about the?
Yeah, Adam.
Yeah.
I showed you some pictures. I mean, they killed a couple of good hogs this weekend, and so, yeah. I mean, I hope to get both those guys on, local guys, and
of course we're gonna do our best to get Peyton on. She's gonna come on. We'll talk to her. We got a few people lined up, and I know we talk about it all the time, but really the reason we hadn't brought anybody in, we're still learning this stuff. I want to apologize for last week because I just didn't know. It was my first time trying to add in a little intro music and exit music. And the exit music apparently, well, I know I was on my way to Destin listening to it. It'll blow your eardrums out. So if you hadn't listened to episode 3, I'm just going to warn you. When you get down to the very end of it, turn it down or turn it off. I'm just going to tell you because it will blow you out of the vehicle or your earbuds or however you listen. But since then, I figured it out. So hopefully on this one, I'm not even sure we're going to have any exit music or not, but the intro music and hopefully, mine and your voice together, we're going to have that all levelized out. I'd heard a couple of people not complaining, but just say, hey, one of you, you talk, one of you's louder than the other. And like I said, it's just things we hadn't learned.
Because you're deaf anyway.
Well,
so.
I'm deaf. But I don't talk. I'm not a talker. I'm an introvert.
Well, my son, he brought it up the other day. He said, Dad, I've never met anyone that is outgoing and speaking, and talk to anybody. And he said, but Anthony out-talks you on there. He said, I figured it was going to be the other way around. And
all you got to do is open your mouth.
Yeah,
talk.
I talk when I get ready to talk.
Yeah, but, we can't have dead air. So when I see you pause, I just fill it in with something.
Well, I mean, hey, that's the yin and yang.
There it is.
Bringing something up. Today, I was listening to another podcast and got to listening, and their guest was going to be Hunt 49. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't know what the app was.
What is Hunt 49?
So it's an app they've created, and it tells you when you can just click on this interactive map. You can click on Alabama. It will lay out what species of turkeys are here. What you need to do as a resident, non-resident. I mean, you can click on there and get your license.
It'll direct you to the place like Outdoor Alabama to buy your license?
Yes. And
tell you what you need. I mean, Alabama, you don't need nothing but a big game license, but other states you may need more, right?
Oh yeah, and that's been an issue, and I mean it is for everybody. We've been new places. We didn't know if we needed a tag. We didn't know if we needed and we keep saying, hey, it would be awesome if the different states would just do a combo. It's a turkey combo, and you click on it, and it has everything you need to harvest a turkey in that state. And some states have that.
And it's confusing.
It is.
I mean, where is it? Is it Tennessee we're going? I still, because I hadn't bought my license yet, but don't you have to buy, you can't, or is it Oklahoma? No, it's Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You can't buy a 7-day license. You have to buy the season license. It was a little bit confusing. I was about to buy the 7-day license, and luckily I did notice in fine print that was not good for turkey season. You have to buy they're just gigging us turkey hunters is what it is, because they know a lot of us are traveling, and hitting different states or wanting to kill a different kind of turkey. Just like us, we're not hunting Easterns out there. We're going far west toward the Panhandle and going to hunt Rios. But just to say we've hunted out there. And yeah, we know numbers are down. Numbers are down everywhere, but there's out-of-state hunters here in Alabama, and you're going to have some out-of-state hunters in Oklahoma this year. But anyway, continue on, because I did download it, but I hadn't even opened it yet and look at it.
Well, I mean, it's an ultimate guide for people that's going to be traveling that knows nothing about it. It even goes into if it's a draw state, when the time is to apply for tags and all that. So really, really interesting. I mean, we actually saw those guys in Nashville and didn't know what they did or what they were about, but definitely a neat app if you are interested in hunting out of state. I would strongly advise getting it.
I'm opening it up. I mean, that's what I'm doing now, just kind of looking at it, and if I can get past there, I think that's, oops. What do you got to do? Oh, you just got a big, and then it like hit Texas. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I mean, it shows you.
My goodness, yeah, I hit Texas. It shows you the species. My good, yeah.
Some of it's got the
tells you if you got if it's draw or not draw. Holy cow, yeah. I like, for anybody traveling out of state and not familiar with the state you're going to, I can see right now this is going to be.
Well, there's some states that you run into that they don't let Onyx put their public ground on
Oklahoma's
there.
one of them. You know, I complained to Onyx.
Right.
Very quickly, and I will tell you this, if you don't use Onyx, they are very helpful. I mean, I shot off an email because I was kind of a little upset. I went to Oklahoma's website. Hey, that's all right. I've already done it once. You know, as long as everybody knows, it's just telephones dropping, people. We can't hold them. But I wanted to know why the walk-in property wasn't on Onyx. I mean, I pay Onyx. They're supposed to all be there. I mean, within just a few minutes, I got an email back from the guy that apologized and said the state wouldn't allow them to publish that, or ask them not to publish it. I don't know how you could not allow it if you drew it in yourself. But of course, they want to get along with all the states, and you know they followed along with their request. But if you want to go to Oklahoma, if you're on Onyx, you got to go to their DNR site or Game and Fish site.
Or you go through Hunt 49, it's on there.
But I mean, they have a map. On Onyx, you can see the wildlife management areas, but you can't see all, and there's thousands of walk-in public land. It shows it on here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me click on it. I'm just interested. So what do you do? Just go to where it says Oklahoma Department of Wildlife?
It actually shows.
Oh.
Keep going.
The Oklahoma Land Access Program.
That's right.
Holy crap. That would have made my life a whole lot easier. And I will tell you, people, I've been studying it because we were going out there and we didn't know they had, well, at the time, they hadn't reduced the bag limit. You could kill 2 last year, I think, in Oklahoma. And this year you can only kill 1. So I was researching very hard. You know, if we kill 1 where we're going, we're only allowed 1 turkey. And we could maybe hit a piece of public. And we still may hit a piece of public if we don't kill 1 where we're going. Because there ain't no guarantees in this life. Anybody that guarantees you a turkey's lying to you. If he's guaranteeing you a turkey, it's a pet turkey in a cage or got his leg tied up, because there ain't no such thing as guarantees with wild turkeys. They do what they want to do. So, yeah, that's the interactive map. The only thing I wish they would do was let you save it. What I do, and I ain't going to lie, I carry my longitude and latitude, and I go to Onyx and I mark it. Might not be marked on the map where the boundaries are, but I can say this area right here is where I think we might find some turkeys, and I do it
Well, what's nice about that is because you can put Onyx up on your screen and hit driving directions, and you're not sitting there trying to look while you're driving. It's up on your screen in your vehicle, because I know about everybody's got a display in their vehicles now.
Yeah, some of them work. I've got a Colorado that it don't like to work. It'll actually just do whatever it wants. It's got a mind of its own. It'll hang up on. It'll call people. I'll be driving down the road here. Hello, hello, and it's just called somebody out of the blue. So I don't use it a whole lot. I was hoping to find out. Yeah. You can click on those spots. It'll tell you what kind of games in there and everything. But that's Oklahoma. But those Midwest and Western states, they have so much land out there, and they have a different plan than how it is here. In these eastern states, there ain't a whole lot of private land or public land. Lots of private, and I guess the state just don't want to go out and pay money to make accessible land like that. I just find it's amazing that they have, like Oklahoma has a wildlife management areas, and they also have public access land that don't require anything but a hunting license. If you go on the management areas, you still got to have a management area license or permit. But if you hit the public, the walk-in public, all the hunting license, all you need, which I think is pretty cool.
And I will say, if you're going to go out, because we hunted Nebraska and Kansas on access land last year, and I mean, we pulled up to one gate. Of course, the gates are shut. You go in by foot, no driving, and we found some trash that had been left there. We picked it up, put it in the truck. I mean, if we don't take care of these areas, I mean, that's a good way to make a landowner mad and them take their property out of out of that program. And
well, we've learned. I mean, You might as well keep trash bags in your truck. If you're hunting public, you kill a turkey just like you kill, you're probably going to clean it out there. You don't want to leave a carcass or a mess out on the property. If you don't, well, even if you kill two, you got the bag, pick up. I still find it unbelievable that you have this access and people still throw their trash out. Now, we were at the gate. Anybody could have pulled up. I'm not going to say it was hunters.
Yep.
It could have been anybody just pull up to smoke a cigarette or drink a beer and on a Friday night or something. Kids parking, I don't know, but
could have kicked it out of the truck.
But just don't do it.
Bring out what you take in.
These landowners are good enough, and I know listen, they're still not getting reimbursed what their property's worth. I mean, compared to what we pay per acre to lease, private property here, they're signing up with the state. They're not getting what that true value of that land is, and they're letting anybody on earth with a hunting license walk in and hunt their property. Now, be prepared to walk. You ain't getting past the gate. I mean, I didn't realize there was a gate at one place in Nebraska where we was it?
Yeah, and if you're inside there and there's a gate inside or an electric fence and you've got to go through that gap or that gate, put it back because it's there for a reason.
They may have cattle running or whatever.
One place had goats,
They had goats.
We had to put the electric fence, snap it back, but they put the...
I don't even... assume every electric fence is hot too. You just don't grab it. I mean, remember these are working farms and ranches, so I wouldn't know why it wouldn't be. And didn't we even while we were walking up? Remember, was it Nebraska that the water trough? We walked up on that water trough that was stopped up and it was flood. Something we actually took time and cleaned that drain.
Well, it was starting to rut the road out.
Yeah, going to rut the road. I mean, we took a few minutes of our day, and whoever owns that property will never know, but we know. And if everybody did something like that, it's just to me an act of kindness or respect for getting to use the property. But pick up your trash, and if you see something, just because you might see a piece of fence is all the way up and a tree limb fell on it or something, move it, help them out. I mean, don't let their cows get out on the road or their horses or goats or whatever they got out there. These people they don't own these thousands of acres just to look at it. They're generally using it to earn an income off of. And
well, when they see a cow or something out there, their first thing is a hunter opened the gate, left it open, or whatever. So by taking that limb, they're talking about all if it's, you possibly prevented their cattle from getting out.
I mean, they may never know you moved it. Now, if it broke the fence and you twisted the wire back together, they may know it when they walk around or finally walk by it. But it's just being a human. Just be. Well, you just treat people like you want to be treated. If it was your property, wouldn't you want that to happen? I don't want nobody to leave my gates open. If I had gates, I don't have enough
treat
property
the property like it's yours.
Because if you don't, they'll take it out. Matter of fact, I don't know why it was out. It might not have been any of that. Remember that one piece of property that somebody was kind enough to gift us a pin on, and we always take pins, people. So, feel free to send us any pins that you feel like sharing with Old Meeting too, because we don't give them out, but we will use them if you tell us we can. But
and we're coming.
Remember that piece of property right where we would see the turkeys every day coming in that road? It was.
Oh yeah.
When you cross that cattle crossing, that was all had been. We actually had pins, but it was no longer part of the program.
Yep.
They had took it out. I'm not saying it was taken out because people let their cows out or anything else. They may have just changed plans and didn't want to do it anymore.
That property could have sold.
It could have been anything. But it can happen. I mean, I'm not going to let people come on my property and tear up my stuff. Not but once. I may have to get out of that contract, but it ain't going to happen again. So, yeah, I don't even care if you're on a management area in Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi. If you see trash, pick it up. I mean, our game wardens, they're not out there to pick up trash. They're out there to make sure they're taking care of the wildlife. Make sure you're doing things right.
Making sure you're following all game laws.
All the game laws. Let me tell you, if you find somebody doing something wrong, people, if they killing something out of season, it can happen. I think here in Alabama, it's 1-800-GAME WATCH. You can call. You don't have to give them your name. You don't have to tell them anything. All you can do is say, hey, I saw a guy. Or I saw a gal. They were poaching. They were spotlighting. They were killing a deer. They was killing a turkey. Out of season, in season, had too many. It's our responsibility to take care of our animals. And, if we don't do it, then we're just as guilty as they are. That's the way I feel about it anyway. And, hey, that's somebody we got to have on here one of these podcasts. Or your dog trainer.
Clifton.
My old game warden, my old nemesis back in my younger days. Not that I was an outlaw back then, don't take it wrong. He was just Clifton, he was a young, cocky game warden, and they have a tough job. I know it, but he knew me just by looking at me. He knew my daddy, he knew my brothers. But if he walked up to you, you better pull that hunting license out, or you better pull that fishing license out, or that permit to be on that piece of property out. He was going to check you.
Maybe multiple times.
He checked me one time, one day. One less than 6-hour day. I didn't fish all day. On the little river beside where I grew up, he checked me 4 or 5 times. Now, I did move. I ain't gonna lie. We'd move. You didn't get no bites. You might move on upstream a little bit. I think on the 4th or 5th time, I told him. I said, Cliff, I called him Cliff back then. I guess he goes by Clifton now. I'm not going to use his last name till he tells us we can. I said, this is the 4th or 5th time you checked me today. He said, I know, and I'll check you 5 or 6 more times today if I want to. So just do what they tell you to do. You don't need to make an enemy. That's the one guy you want on your side.
Well, and law enforcement, they don't get the respect anymore that they used to. So, because I know all about it. I was a deputy for 5 years, so.
Back to blue, back to green. Those guys in the green out there in Alabama, they may not be that way in every state. In Alabama, they wear green. They got a hard job. You think about it. Every person they walk up to during a hunting season or almost any time, they're carrying a loaded weapon. You don't know what you're walking into.
No.
I don't know if I could do it. Especially for what they get paid.
Well, my dad and them back in the 80s, they used to travel and hunt a lot of management areas. Mm-hmm. And I had a well, he had a cousin that come back from Vietnam that wasn't real stable, and he may have pulled out a firearm in the middle of the night and shot the campground up with people there that was staying there to hunt the next morning.
Is that who they wrote that country song after?
And the game wardens they showed up real quick, and yeah, he was asked to leave, but they did give him a break because of where he come from. I mean, he had an episode in the middle of the night.
You didn't call him Uncle Bubba, did you?
No.
Okay.
I wasn't even alive then.
So he didn't shoot the jukebox.
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, listen, all respect for those Vietnam veterans. I had an uncle the same way. He was never. A lot of people come through that. All these wars, and especially these wars now, it's worse than ever. I think the mental stress. But those people in Vietnam, they saw and had to do things that changed them forever. I mean, one of my favorite uncles, he was that way. I mean, he just never really came back. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he couldn't hold down a job.
Yep.
Now, he was my funkle. I called him my fun uncle. He was my funkle. I mean, he was there when we were teenagers. This grown man, but he was there. I mean, we fished together. He'd sneak us a beer. You know, he's that kind of guy. And maybe a cigarette or two and anything. I mean, he was just that kind of guy. Hung out. I mean, my dad worked the evening shift. He was a coal miner. He worked 3 to 11. So in the evenings, I mean, it was my uncle. My mother, I guess he gave her a break because we'd go out there and throw horseshoes. Where I grew up, there wasn't nothing to do. We lived in nowhere land. You either fished, hunted, or throw horseshoes. That's what we did.
Or throw rocks at the
rocks at the train. I tell you, I don't guess I'm too embarrassed about this. It may not have been me, it might have been my brothers. But, I mean, we stood up there and we'd moon them as they come by. We had passenger trains between Nashville and Birmingham before they dropped that line. They come by every day, and we knew when they was coming by. And as they come by, buddy, they got to see some little redneck butts I could just imagine what they thought as they come by. They may have seen more than that, but most of the time that's what it was.
Well, I mean, apparently you were pretty good at that. You just told me a story the other day about running nude through a parking lot at a restaurant or something in high school.
You know, when we talk at dinner, those kind of conversations are really not made for a podcast. And I did streak through a Burger King.
That's right, Burger King.
But I did surf naked one night on the hood of a 74 Gran Torino through that same parking lot, I think. But there's a lot of tequila involved in that, and I wasn't but 16, 17 years old, so.
Young and dumb.
Probably didn't weigh 120 pounds, so what'd they see? A damn pipe cleaner coming through, a naked pipe cleaner. I mean, I didn't even turkey hunt. I don't even think I deer hunted back then. I may have just got into deer hunting. We didn't have no deer where I grew up at. So we had to travel down South Alabama to see a deer. You grew up in Winston County. Y'all have deer up there all the time? Or
all my life.
So I grew up in Jefferson and Blount County. There wasn't a lot of deer. Well, matter of fact, there wasn't none. Wasn't no turkeys. Now the dang property I grew up on, turkeys everywhere. I say everywhere. We're not like they used to be, but now there's turkeys to hunt, deer to hunt. Heck, there was a fallow deer come through a few years ago. I had to get a hold of the Game and Fish Department. I sent them got on my game camera out there. My dad had an old feeder out in the field, and it was summertime. And there wasn't no corn in it, but I just left my camera on there. There wasn't no need to take it down. And I went out there. He said, man, there's some big tracks down the field. And I went out there and pulled that camera, and there was a fallow deer come down there that only one time. So I got a hold of the Game and Fish people and sent them the picture. And they wanted to know where it was. And he said, that's got to be an escapee from somewhere. But I don't know anywhere around close that had them. But it got spotted a couple of times before it just disappeared off the face of the earth. And they told us shoot it. If you see it, there ain't no season on them. Just shoot them. They're great eating. So.
Really?
Oh, yeah. My old man, he kept a loaded gun by the door just in case that thing come back through the yard.
Well, that call I had a call one time in Good Hope when I was at the sheriff's office, and people was reporting that there was a bear in their garbage cans around the Good Hope area. And so when I contacted Game and Fish, I told them what was going on, and I said, I need to go ahead and kill this bear or whatever.
Oh, I imagine what you were
that
told.
that was a no-go. I think, matter of fact, I think the way it was put to me, it was about a $10,000 fine and I would be arrested.
Your buddy
yeah, Clifton would have probably come got me.
No. He actually, I don't know if you know this, and you can ask him about it. He headed up a sting operation on some folks, I want to say in Walker County, that killed a bear. I maybe not have been Walker County, somewhere in Alabama. I think North Alabama. I know he did some duck stings, but he did this. They illegally killed a bear. Not like they kept it or anything, but I think he tracked them down and they busted a bunch of people. Matter of fact, I think he got Game Warden of the Year right around that time. I'm telling you, he was serious. No cooler of a dude right now, though. If you need a squirrel dog, once he tells us we can use his name, I'll tell you his last name, but you might can hunt him up. What's that dog of his that's so popular?
Cahaba River.
Cahaba River, yeah. You look him up, you'll know who he is from that dog. He's he's one hell of a squirrel dog trainer.
Well, it's a small world because actually Alex from Talk About It Outdoors and his dad, they know Clifton well. They used to squirrel hunt tournaments.
We need to get together with Clifton, Alex and his daddy, and me and you, and we need to all get together and go somewhere squirrel hunting. Make a day of it, whether we have to come up here to the refuge or the management area or something. I don't think our dogs hold a candle to some of Clifton's dogs, but...
Well, my bougie dog, she newts her daddy.
She's new.
Yeah.
She's new at it. She's a rookie. And mine's a rookie. Although I think they did pretty doggone good. We didn't kill but one squirrel off them. We didn't get to hunt a whole lot, but they treed several. And I have no doubts there were squirrels there. There's just den trees. So maybe we need to do that. Either over here or over in Georgia, if they got a place over there. We just need big enough woods we can go hunt. God, if my hunting camp, they hadn't cut all that timber, I'm telling you right now, we could have hunted for weeks over there. And we could still go in the forest and hunt over there.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. We could always do like Talladega National Forest or something like that.
Because I'm on one end of the forest in Dallas County, and he's on the other end of the same block of land, I think in Bibb County or somewhere up in there.
Yep.
So, miles and miles apart, the same big chunk of land. I do not want to hunt Bankhead. Sorry. I'm just not going to do it. There ain't enough flat land up there to hunt all day.
If you had some pack mules to ride, it'd be all right.
Can you do that? Me and my deceased turkey hunting partner discussed that. You couldn't ride nothing in. I said, well, what if you had a donkey? Could you not lead your donkey in with you? And then kind of pack your stuff in and out, maybe ride him up them trails back out of there. That's not a motorized vehicle.
Well, we got the horse trails over there. And
I'm not talking about a horse.
What I'm saying is they make you stay on that because there's some kind of snail or something that's in the creek and they don't want those disturbed.
Well, I was listening to a bear grease podcast. Clay Newcomb's doing. He did a 3-part series on wilderness areas. Here in the East, we don't really, we got the Bankhead. I think that's considered a wilderness area.
Well, Sipsey Wilderness.
Yeah, Sipsey Wilderness area and Bankhead National Forest. It's not like the North Slope in Alaska or somewhere up in there. But just the differences in how they're treated. Then some of these, especially in the East, they're full of invasives, but by law, you can't go in and touch them. You can't go in, you can't use chainsaws, you can't use herbicides, you can't drive in them. Even the government can't go in them. And they're suffering because of that. It's not so bad in Alaska or places like that, but they were talking about maybe it's time to look at how they change the law, or can you trust the government to even change the law to once you touch it, will it end? And look, at this day and time, I'm kind of in that boat. I'm sorry, I don't trust the government. I sure don't trust that fool that's talking tonight, which I don't know what time it is. What time is it? What time we got here?
7:45.
Oh, he ain't even on yet. Well, of course, he don't even know when he is on. If y'all can't tell, I'm not a fan of our current president. But yeah, I just don't trust him. So leave it like it is, and if you want to sneak in there with a hacksaw and chop down a cedar tree, it ain't supposed to be there. It's invasive. Do it yourself. Don't let nobody know who's going to be there to see. Nobody else is in there either. You can't even fly a helicopter in. Did you know that?
No.
You can't access wilderness areas even by helicopter. You've got to park and walk in. I don't care if it's 100. You want to go 100 miles in, you're going to walk 100 miles in. You ain't going to fly in and parachute in. Or have a helicopter land out in a meadow somewhere. And I'm not even going to tell y'all's my definition of meadows. But there's no such thing as a meadow, not in Alabama anyway. We got pastures here. They got fences around. If they grew grass, they put a fence up. So there ain't no meadows. You got a cow pasture. So anyway, but hell, we've rambled on again. Or I've rambled on. Here I am talking.
Well, I want to take just 1 second.
Take a second.
I don't know if I got to tell you or not. I spoke with Mike Wells last night from North Alabama Outdoor Sportsman, and he's going to get with us. And
is he going to come on the podcast?
Yeah. And but they've got a lot of things going. They're going to do some reels and stuff like that. They've got a YouTube channel going. So,
and what's it called?
It's North Alabama Outdoor Sportsman.
Okay.
They've got social media, and so check those guys out. I mean, they're a lot like me and Anthony.
He's not paying you or sucking up or
no. Mike's a entrepreneur like we are.
Hey, we're sponsored by guess who? Us. We're self-funded. Something the government can't say, but
and they're self-funded as well. It's just a group of guys that enjoy the outdoors. They're like us. They fish, they hunt, and they
they don't do a podcast.
No, and it may happen in the future, but right now they're doing they're going to do YouTube channel and things like that, and so I know they were over in the Bankhead scouting last weekend, and he said they found some really good sign and stuff. So
you talking about like turkey sign or deer sign or
both,
what just out and about hog sign? Didn't you say they hog hunt a lot? Or no, that's the other guy.
Yeah. But Mike, when I talked to him, he said that they did find some good signs, some rubs, stuff like that, and they had got in deep. He said he don't think there'll be people in that area. So, but that's what it takes.
Never think.
If you're going to get on good deer and over in the Bankhead,
of the world,
you got to go deep because
you got to be part mountain goat.
Yeah, and getting it out's the most fun, especially with deer.
Well, I mean, I don't think most people would pack in a cart. You might haul it in to where you might have a stand and leave it there for the season, but if you're like a one time going up this weekend, you're going to hike in 6-7 miles. You're not going to probably roll no cart with you, but you better remember, you got to get that thing out. You're not going to drag him out either. You're going to have to pack that thing out 9 times out of 10. I mean, if you're on the Bankhead, if you're on the management area, you've got to bring it out. Do they not have to?
Oh yeah, and
you can gut it, but you got to carry it to the check station and we weighed and jawboned and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I know. Like some of my buddies that hunt there, if one kills or whatever, they go back to the truck, get the cart, and they may be back in there 4 miles. So I guess they draw straws, flip a coin, or whoever killed the.
Personally, I wouldn't hunt unless I had a buddy. I don't know if I hunt. You don't like to walk. You ain't a big walker up and down them hills.
Well, anything can happen to you over there too, because your heart rate's always elevated in the Bankhead.
Let me tell you, and it can happen. Hey, my age, I told you tonight, one of my good friends, Kenny Lee, he had a heart attack day before yesterday. He called it a heart incident. He wouldn't call it a heart attack, a heart incident. But he got a stent anyway, so I call it a heart attack. When you go to he's a volunteer fireman his whole, ever since I've really known him in Blount County. So he knows how to act. And
I give him credit. He knew there's something wrong and got his buddy he was with over there to carry him to the fire department. In the ambulance he went. A few hours later, he's getting a stent. So yeah, I'm like you. You better be in shape, or if you're not in shape, you better know where you're going because you're gonna wish you was in shape. If you drop off some of them mountains in there, and I'm not gonna say mountains. It's just deep hollows. I call them hollers, hollows, however you want to call them. If I want to start talking like Alex, hollows.
Well, the biggest thing over there, if you don't know where you're going and it's dark, you might fall off a bluff.
But, hey,
there's 100 feet drop faces.
I can attest to that. Not that I was in there in the dark, but I went over there on a hog hunt. They'd have a hog hunt right before turkey season, or I guess maybe February after deer season, before turkey season. And I was over there with my old hunting partner, and we walked up on a bluff. I'm talking about, I bet it was 100 feet to the bottom.
Oh yeah,
beautiful bottom. As a matter of fact, we just sat right there, and hoped the hog would come by because I done walked all them hills and stuff I wanted to go. That's when we started trying to devise a way to get a donkey in there or something, just a little miniature. If we could get a miniature donkey in there. You got hikers, they carry their dogs in there. What if you carried like a big old, what's them giant dogs? Not a husky or, you know what I'm talking about? Them big, I forgot what they're called. They're monsters. You can ride one of them nearly. What if I walked my dog in there? He just so happened helped me drag my deer out. Or maybe I rode him out. I don't know. What is them dogs? Mastiff.
Oh,
them bull mastiffs. Them things are monsters. They're bigger than all the ones that I didn't forgot what they're called.
Well, they have those pulling competitions for pit bulls. I mean, you could probably train you one of them to drag a deer out, because
I might could just stick it on the deer and he'd catch him for me. I don't know.
Yeah,
I know he'd catch a hog.
I had a buddy in the Army. He done those competitions with those pits, and to train them, we would all get in his expedition and have one pit bull hooked to the front of it, and this thing would pull all of us.
It would pull the expedition?
With all of us in it, yes. And I'm talking about, some of these are like 8-month-old pups.
Listen, I ain't messing with no pit bull. Can't trust them. I don't never hear about the attack Labrador that killed the little kid or the woman jogging. It's always, generally it's a pit bull. And I know there's a lot of pit bull lovers, and they're beautiful dogs. And some friends of ours has one, and she's a big old baby. So I'm just joking about that, but yeah, I can see it. They ain't nothing but one big old muscle in a mouth.
Yeah, he messed up. Some guys was coming to work on his house there on at Schofield Barracks, and he got the bright idea. He would just chain the dog to one of the columns so the guys could work inside the house. I know where
you're going with this.
And when he come back, it had pulled the whole back porch down, and he had to pay for that out of pocket. And I think back then he was a E3 or E4, and it broke him for a month or two.
I imagine it did. Yeah, if you get your paycheck, you can barely buy a pizza and a couple of beers. Son, good Lord, here we are, almost going on an hour and 15 minutes. We've rambled on again. I'm sure a lot of people's done hit the stop button on us. And it's, I don't know about you, but I got to go to work tomorrow.
Yep.
And of course, we're going to meet up. We might not work all day because we're going down to Mark's Outdoors.
Well, and we've got a lot of rain coming in tomorrow. It's supposed to be raining by noon.
I think it's going to be pretty much a dead day for people that work like you, people like you guys, that you ain't going to be able to do much of anything until, maybe first part of the morning. But my guys too, we're lining up all the outside work we might have, and we got a few inside things I hope they can do just to stay busy.
Well, before we get off here, sincerely, thanks for all the support we're getting. We're trying to learn all the technology stuff, and I hope it gets better every week. But if it don't,
it's my fault.
Yeah,
right now anyway.
Well, seriously though, thank you for everybody that's following us on Facebook and Instagram and listening to the podcast. And
we're on iHeartRadio now.
Yeah. Yeah, that
I
happened
had a few
today.
requests for iHeart. I hadn't really even thought about them. I didn't. I do have that app on my phone, but I don't listen to the podcast on. I didn't even really think about them for podcasts. But get out there and look for us. We're supposed to be there. Put a link up on our Facebook page, maybe Instagram. Is there anybody else that we're posting any social medias? I guess that's it. I don't have an X yet. It's suggested we have an X. I don't know about putting on an X. I mean, good God. I mean, I've got an X account. And I don't even look at it. People, X is Twitter, but now it's Elon Musk, so it's X. And I'm all for supporting Elon. I mean, I think he's done a great thing. But anyway, we're there. We're on Apple. We're on Spotify. We're on Amazon Prime. And now we're on iHeartRadio. And if you got a suggestion, you listen to something else, hey, send us a message. Post it on our Meeting 2 page or just, message me or Dustin. I mean, we'll get it there. We figured that part out. It's not that hard. And, I don't know all the platforms. There's many, many, many platforms that podcasts are put out on. So I didn't even think about it, but apparently if you use Android, they don't use Apple, no Apple. So I've got a son that's Android just because he likes to be different and difficult. And that's what he told me. He said, I tried to listen to you. I got it on Spotify, but I use iHeart. I said, why you use iHeart? Why don't you use Apple? And then I've got an Android. So that's why him and then somebody else messaged me. Once I got 2 of them, I wouldn't have done it just for him. But just because, you get 1 or 2 people. Heck, somebody's listening. Heck, might as well put it out there where they can hear us. If you want us to talk about anything in particular, if you need something checked on, talked about, looked into, message us. Heck, if you think you'd be interested, message us. We'll line you up. If well, you don't even have to be interested. We're not interested. And heck, look at us. We're going on 1 hour and 20 minutes, and we ramble on. So we get you on here, we'll go 2 hours. We'll be a 2-parter. I will say, like I said, when we get the perfect, there'll never be a perfect one. When we get one that we're not just, dang, we need to fix this. We're going to start putting guests on here. We've got the remote. We can remote them in. If you're local, they can come right on over here. I think Wade, you'll probably get Wade to ride with you or just come over here.
Yeah.
I think Alex and Nick and who else over there to talk about it? We'll have to invite him. He'll cry.
Cody Watson. Cody
Watson, the brains of TIA. Anyway, they're going to actually come over this summer, so I don't know if we'll have our little studio ready by then, but we can all sit around this table. What scares me is my bar is right behind the table. I don't worry about Nick too much, but that Cody and Alex, I'll have to watch them. They'll be putting something in their pocket. I know they'll be putting something in their glass. But anyway, dadgummit. Was that a knock at the door? No, it wasn't. That was me finally touching something I wasn't supposed to do. But I think we need to wrap it up. You got any other than I'm with you. Thank everybody that's listened. Pass the word. You listen to us, man. Give us a good 5-star rating. That puts us up on the list when these podcast platforms like Apple and Spotify and so on. When you do a search for different podcasts, that raises us up and gets our name out in front of people. From what I understand. We are on Instagram now. We don't have really anybody on Instagram following us other than us and maybe the wives. But Instagram, Facebook, more and more people seem to be discovering us. Just put the word out there. If you listen to this and you like it, tell your friends. Forward them that link to iHeart, because it'll just, you ain't got to have an iHeart account. I think it just pops you right onto their podcast thing and you can listen to it. All of them, everything's there.
And if you get a chance to come out to Mark's tomorrow, we'll be there for a while.
We'll be at Mark's.
probably be hanging around toward the legacy people, but we'll be here and there. Look for us. We'll probably, I mean, we ain't got no, other than a hat that says anything about our podcast here. What's our podcast called? You're supposed to jump in here with me. My stickers are right there. I'm trying to lead you in. I mean, I don't want your son to think all I do is talk and keep you from speaking up. You know, he don't even say nothing to me when I'm over at your house. He'll, hey,
he don't talk to me either. I went in there last night, knocked on the door. I was like, Hunter. He's like, yeah. I opened the door. He said, yeah, Dad. I said, I just wanted to see you, make sure you're still alive. Because, I mean, he's so busy with work and college and of course, courting, you know.
Oh, of course. So yeah, that's probably the most important thing right now. It was when I was his age.
Well, he told me he was going to the jewelry store last weekend, and I said, why? I mean, I was like, why? But he was just he wanted to get something worked on, and so not what I thought. And I mean, he knows better than that. He's got to finish college first. So, once again, thanks for everybody joining us, and we hope to get you another podcast out next week if everything goes good.
I know we've been dragging on them some, but like I said, I was sick. You know, maybe we can get back on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, Wednesdays I've always got something almost, but
we can give our scouting report for Tennessee,
we'll
Kentucky.
talk about that, and one more week closer to Alabama kickoff, to turkey season, and we're here. So I mean, we're so close. I can taste it. I mean, if you hadn't got out and listened, get out and listen. I wish I could. I got to be at work too early, or it takes me so long to get to work. I leave before I could even listen or drive somewhere to where I'm going to hunt. But like I said, I've been pleased with what I've seen. I think, you know, my camera surveys anyway showed up pretty good, at least at one place. And like I said, we'll go over what we saw in Tennessee and Kentucky. And heck, if you got something, shoot it in there. We'll talk about it and figure it out and help you if we can. You think that's about it?
That's all I got.
I guess we'll get out of here until next week, folks. Get out there and enjoy it. That's all I can tell you. We'll see you in a week.